Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air 9CumSat. Now the news in full. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the distribution of permanent voters card, PVCs, to new applicants across Edo State local government areas will commence. The commission, while urging the applicants to come for their cards, noted that it would not release them to third parties. The Commission's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeku, in a statement said the distribution at the ward level had been concluded with 125,928 PVCs collected within 5 days. Over 50,000 people have been taking refuge in public schools and government buildings across Jigawa State following the devastating flood that affected 17 local government areas. Displaced persons are struggling with a severe shortage of basic necessities, with many women and children falling ill. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrim visited Buji local government, one of the hardest hit areas, and now reports.
This is Gansa in Buji local government area of Jigawa State, where flood waters have submerged more than half of the town. Court sessions have been suspended and the hospitals and markets are closed, leaving the community at a standstill. You can see that everything has stopped in this community. Behind me is the court, the hospital, and then the district head house. They are all covered in water. There is no way you can go in or come out of the water, because everywhere is blocked. Residents report that thousands of homes have been destroyed, leaving the town completely cut off from surrounding areas. With over 5,000 houses lost, access routes are now non-existent. Farmers in Buji local government report that their entire farmlands have been wiped out by the floods. Tragically, 3 people have died and several others have been injured as buildings collapsed around them. As you can see, we have lost virtually everything we planted this year. Our farmlands have been washed away. Our farm produce is gone. In fact, at the moment, we don't have food to eat because I have lost everything from this flood. The Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency warns that the number of the affected individuals is likely to increase as the rain continues across the state.
Even the IDPs keep on increasing because of the continued rain. Before we assumed that it is only the dam that will give us this havoc. But unfortunately, it's not the dam now. It's just the heavy downfall that is affecting that is causing the flood.
Behind me is the local government secretariat of Buji in Jigawa State and the divisional police headquarters. Now, the access road has been blocked, and residents are saying that an estimated 5,000 houses have been destroyed by the flood, and about 3,000 farmers have lost their entire harvest this year to flood. Now, residents are calling on both the state and federal government to come to their aid as they face imminent food shortage this year. This is
The founder and chief of Telegram, Pavel Durov, is set to learn whether he will face charges and even be remanded in custody after his weekend arrest by French authorities over alleged violation at the messaging app. Durov was arrested at Le Brun Airport outside Paris, where judicial authorities have repeatedly extended his initial period of detention, which can last a maximum of 96 hours. As part of a probe that was confidentially opened on July 8th, Durov is reportedly being investigated on suspicion of 12 offenses related to failing to curb extremist content on Telegram. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, says now is the time to invest enormous resources in peace and regional integration. This was the position of the Commission at a joint strategy and consultation session between private sector and stakeholders on peace in order to address the challenges faced by member states. Samuel Odi tells us more.
The regional body called on the stakeholders and the private sector to work on a strategy to help generate funds for the initiative.
As a living body, it has to address some challenges because our region itself is facing different challenges. So the purpose of this meeting that is gathering us for 3 days is to get all the stakeholders so that together they can see what is the best structure we can have for the Peace Fund in order for it to be fit for purpose, in order for it to become very strong, enabled to mobilize more resources and also to manage resources for the well-being of the ECOWAS communities along all the 15 member countries.
The director of the private sector, Tony Luca Ilumelu, stressed the need for the involvement of private sector with ECOWAS Peace Fund.
To participate fully in this is to bring the private sector angle in terms of engagement, having to let them understand what Peace Fund is all about, because what is there for the private sector is to understand what is in for us, investment, and which means that there must be a good investment climate. And that's exactly what we have. But
he also stated that the private sector is working on a plan to partner with the ECOWAS Peace Fund so as to see to the reality of the vision of enabling youths in the region. Samuel Odi, reporting for Global Television News.
The Assistant Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Bayelsa State, Midday Tebiebi, had been arrested by men of the Nigerian police for alleged illegal possession of firearms. It was reported that Tebiebi, an ex-militant who is currently undergoing interrogation, is being held at the Criminal Investigation Department of Bayelsa State Police Command due to the lack of detention facility at the zone. You're watching Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When Midday News return, Ronaldo hints at surprise retirement, rules out coaching future. Details of these and more right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcasts of Midday News. Thank you for staying with us. On our business desk now, the federal government has initiated plans to enlist the services of an external auditor to verify the 2.7 trillion naira fuel subsidy claim by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited against the government. The yet-to-be-named auditor will assist the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation in determining the real amount owed by the government. This development comes 5 months after the plan was proposed at the monthly Federation Allocation Account Committee meeting in April 2024. The federal and state government have raised 100 billion naira for the procurement of prepaid electricity meters. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu said this was under the Presidential Meter Initiative program. Adelabu disclosed this while addressing broadcasters in Ibadan, Oyo State capital, where he stated that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration have been making efforts to close the meter gap in Nigeria, adopting various initiatives. Meanwhile, Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Privatization and Commercialization, Hamisu Ibrahim, has pledged the committee's resolve to work with relevant committees in the House to pass legislation on electricity theft in the country. Speaking when he led other members of the committee on an oversight visit to Eco Electricity Distribution Company in Lagos, Ibrahim decried the rate of electricity theft in the country, saying the legislature will check the abuse. In a statement by the head of Public Communications Bureau of Public Enterprise, Amina Othman, the chairman called for collaboration between the committee and electricity power companies for effective and efficient power supply in the country. Nigeria's daily oil production shrank by 160,000 barrels per day in the second quarter of 2024. This was contained in a report released by the National Bureau of Statistics, stating that within 3 months, the country had recorded an average daily production of 1.41 billion barrels per day. This figure is lower than the first quarter's production volume of 1.57 million barrels per day. On our foreign news, a Chinese hospital ship has docked in Cape Town, South Africa, to bring much-needed free medical care to South African patients as part of a joint exercise between the two nations. South Africa's Army Health Service said in a statement that the Peace Ark arrived on the country's western shores on August 22nd and will provide independent medical services for 7 consecutive days. Chedadilwa Mohale, SS Nursing SA Military Health Service, one of the beneficiaries, spoke on her reason for using the service. Despite being the most advanced economy on the continent, South Africa grapples with widespread poverty and high unemployment, making quality health care often inaccessible.
That's what we've inherited. Not just an economic black hole, a societal black hole. And that's why we have to take action and do things differently. And part of that is being honest with people about the choices that we face, how tough this will be. And frankly, things will get worse before they get better.
Keir Starmer, UK Prime Minister and Finance Minister Rachel Reeves, in recent days has also warned of difficult decisions over whether to cut spending or increase taxes in first budget on October 30th. An oil tanker which was attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebels in the Red Sea last week is still on fire and may be leaking oil, the U.S. Pentagon says. Attempts to salvage the Greek-owned and flagged MV Sharman have been thwarted by the Houthis, who have threatened more attacks, the Pentagon adds. The ship is carrying more than 150,000 tons of 1 million barrels of crude oil, and major spill has the potential to be among the largest from the ship in recorded history. The Iran-backed Houthis, who control much of Yemen, says they have been attacking ships in the Red Sea for 10 months in support of the Palestinians in the war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip. U.S. prosecutors have issued reverse charges against former President Donald Trump for his alleged attempt to interfere in the 2020 election after he lost to Joe Biden. They are in response to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling last month that said President enjoys broad immunity from criminal prosecutions for official acts while in office. The reverse indictment says out the same 4 criminal counts against Trump, which he denies, but they now relate to his status as a political candidate rather than a sitting president. It appears unlikely that the case and other criminal cases faced by the Republican will reach court before this year's election on 5th November. On sports now, as the excitement builds for the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League, Europe's elite clubs are gearing up for another thrilling season of the high-stake football. With the group stage draw set to take place in Monaco, the final list of the qualified teams have been revealed, featuring powerhouses from across the continent alongside some surprising newcomers. Alongside the UCL's historic 36-team league phase, the UEFA European League and UEFA Conference League draw will also take place shortly after. Although a name synonym with excellence in European football is set to receive prestigious honor from UEFA Solidarity in his status as a UEFA Champions League all-time top scorer. The special award will be presented by UEFA President Alexander Kufrin during the 2024-25 UEFA Champions League draw ceremony on 29 August at the Criminality Forum in Monaco. According to a statement from UEFA website, Ronaldo's unparalleled achievements in the UEFA Champions League, including his 140 goals across 183 appearances, have redefined the competition's history. Cristiano Ronaldo has revealed that his plans to retire from football within the next 2 or 3 years, though he hasn't finalized when to bring his illustrious career to a close. The 39-year-old, who will turn 40 on February 5, 2025, continues to excel with